We have to realise that we are responsible before we can become response-able. I'll repeat that. We have to become responsible before we can become response-able. A couple of days ago and today, two things happened which reminded me that most people are not responsible, or feel they're not responsible, and therefore never become response-able. I was walking along a street in Parramatta, in the shopping centre near me, when across the road I saw what appeared to be a homeless man. I looked at him and I was about to cross the road, perhaps to give him some coins, when he suddenly reacted. He kicked out at a pigeon, just one sole hungry pigeon nearby, because he was obviously eating something, the man was eating something. And I looked, and as I looked, I probably looked too long, because there was a yelling of abuse from across the street. What the effing are you looking at, mate? You mind your own business, blah, 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 blah. And I got this huge tirade of anger. And I thought to myself, wow, where did that lot come from? This man must be so full of anger that he kicks out even at a hungry pigeon. That was one instance. Today, on another walk coming home, there was a car caught a couple of in a line of traffic. He was about the second car back from the lights. And he was revving his car angrily, put it in neutral and was revving it. There was smoke coming out the back. And of course, this drew my attention. So I looked. Once again, he wound down his window and he yelled out, "No, what are you looking at, you effing B?" and all this sort of stuff, and all this anger. And I thought, goodness gracious me, so much pent-up rage in so many people. And what's the reason? They feel they're not responsible. They feel that whatever happens out there in the world, they have to react to it in some way. So what's reacting? Some part of themselves is reacting. Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body. And we all have within us this so-called pain body, which grows hungry and needs more anger so that it can feel that it's alive, I guess, yelling and kicking and screaming at people. This gives it some sort of life. One thing I do realise, that until we become self-aware, until we get a hankering after self-knowledge, we can never really work ourselves towards self-enlightenment. We'll always be stuck in this image of what we think we are, which causes us so much angst. The self-image is not us. It's something we've built up. It's just an imagined self, totally imagined. And yet we react to it. Our minds, our bodies believe that this thing that we've concocted with our conditioning, with our thoughts, and added to over the years, we think that's us. And we suffer so much because of it. We need to realise that if we get to come out of our suffering, we have to come out of this image of what we think we are. Until we start to leave that behind, until we can dissolve it, till it can be melted away so it has no influence on our lives anymore, we will always be subject to the emotions within us, thinking we are the emotions, adding to the emotions with our thoughts, which trigger more emotions, and so it goes on in an endless cycle created by ourselves, and yet always thinking The world outside is doing this to me. The world outside is not doing it to you. Your reactions and how you think about what's happening out there is the cause of the suffering. Your suffering, my suffering. We need to get over it. We need to melt the ego, dissolve it, disintegrate it, get rid of it. And of course that takes mindfulness.